Russell Westbrook, the leading candidate to win the 2016-17 NBA Most Valuable Player Award, has one of the greatest success stories that you might not have known about. He overcame tremendous adversity and heartbreak through sheer hard work and determination, where the average human being would have just given up and called it quits. Growing up in the inner city area of Los Angeles, Westbrook was raised by his parents, Russell Westbrook Sr. and Shannon Horton. His father was an active pickup player and drove Westbrook around town to gyms and parks to play basketball. Westbrook credits his father for showing him how to play with a constant motor and intensity for the entire game, which he has adopted throughout his entire NBA career. Westbrook spent most of his time practicing in the community center gyms in the Los Angeles area. These gyms were typically pretty small, yet they were sometimes packed with hundreds of kids waiting to get their turn to play. It was at Ross Snyder Park where Westbrook really started to take the sport seriously. Basketball became his #1 priority, and along with his family's support, they kept him out of the streets as he focused on becoming the player that his father dreamed he would become. When Westbrook was around 9 years old, he was playing at Jesse Owens Park and met a guy named Reggie Hamilton, who was the coach for a traveling basketball team. Westbrook would play for his youth team, and Hamilton instantly realized how competitive he was even at that young age, but he wasn't exactly the most skilled guy on the court. At 12 years old, Westbrook and his family moved to Hawthorne, where he would meet his best friend Kelsey Bars. Him and Bars, along with Westbrook's younger brother Raynard, would play basketball together every day non-stop. It was around this time where Westbrook truly developed a love for the sport, and together, he and Bars made exponential improvements in their games. This was the beginning of a beautiful friendship that unfortunately didn't end that well. By the time the two of them attended Lusinger High School, they were pretty much inseparable. They both talked about playing together as teammates at UCLA. Even though Westbrook wasn't heavily recruited, Bars was one of the best players in the nation, and he was already getting scholarship offers as a sophomore in high school. But one day, during a regular pickup game at Los Angeles Southwest College, they were playing with their friends until, all of a sudden, Kelsey Bars collapsed to the ground. He was immediately rushed to the hospital, but shortly after, he was pronounced dead from an enlarged heart. This event changed Westbrook's life forever. Not only did he lose his best friend, but also the person who pushed him to get better every single day to live out their dreams together. He was devastated that life can be taken away with a blink of an eye, and he didn't understand why this had to happen to Kelsey, his best friend. But instead of letting his death become a burden to him, he used it as motivation to get even better. It triggered a spark within Westbrook that caused him to play with a mix of anger and passion that nobody has ever seen from him before. The anger of losing Kelsey and the passion for the game that brought them together. It was almost as if Westbrook was living his life for two people. After Kelsey's death, Westbrook actually started doing Kelsey's chores as well. He started taking out the trash for Kelsey's grandmother who lived across the street every single week. Even today, Westbrook wears a wristband with his friend's initials written on it. It just shows how much he meant to him, and the energy he plays with represents his love for the sport and everyone who supported him along the way. Unfortunately, Westbrook's height was holding him back. He was only 5'8" in his junior year of high school, and looking at his parents' heights, he probably wasn't going to grow any taller. But luckily, Westbrook caught a break and grew to 6'2" right before his senior year. He had a phenomenal year at Lusinger High School, averaging over 25 points and 9 rebounds per game. And he also started dunking for the first time in his life. However, despite his success, he was only rated as a 3-star athlete and ranked number 151 in the nation. In fact, he wasn't even the highest ranking Westbrook in his class. But fortunately, he caught a break again and was offered a scholarship to his dream school, UCLA, since Jordan Farmar declared for the NBA draft and UCLA needed another guard on the roster. At UCLA, Westbrook would meet his new roommate and teammate, who's still one of his best friends to this day, Kevin Love. In his freshman year, he was the backup point guard to Darren Collison and didn't really get to play that much. His role was just to be an energetic perimeter defender off the bench. He showed some flashes of greatness offensively, but he just didn't have the opportunity to play a lot of minutes. But in his sophomore season with Collison getting injured, this was Westbrook's chance to prove himself, and that's what he did. He finished the season averaging 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, and he was named to the All-Pac-10 Third Team and Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, and he also met his future wife, Nina Earl, around this time. After his successful sophomore season at UCLA, Westbrook declared for the 2008 NBA Draft. But he had a lot of doubters. He wasn't seen as someone who's capable of running an NBA-level offense. People didn't even think he was a real point guard, just an undersized shooting guard who couldn't shoot. And those type of players usually don't find much success in the NBA. Draft Express compared him to Leandro Barbosa, an energetic scorer off the bench who did win Sixth Man of the Year in his prime, but that's about all he did. The good thing for Westbrook was that he was still an explosive, once-in-a-generation type of athlete, and that was why scouts still believed he could be a high draft pick. Sam Presti, the general manager of the Seattle Supersonics, loved his potential and his personality, so he took a reach and drafted him at number 4 in this draft, even though most mock drafts had him going at around number 6. Presti stated his reason for taking him this high was because Westbrook was the best perimeter defender in the draft, and he's also an amazing competitor and teammate like he has been throughout his entire career. He also had a lot of respect from his peers, and the team needed a guy like him to take the leadership role. After Westbrook got drafted, he said, "I'm finally here. I got a chance to walk up to shake David Stern's hand. I've been thinking about that all of my childhood, watching the NBA draft growing up, and now it's finally here." The rest of this story is history. The Sonics moved to Oklahoma City, Westbrook made some huge improvements, Kevin Durant and James Harden are gone, and he just broke the record for most triple-doubles in a single season while being one of the major candidates to win MVP. Although Westbrook has overcome tremendous odds to become one of the best players in the league, he has always stuck to the same motto throughout his entire life: why not? Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe or leave a like if you liked it, and I'll see you next time.